various things, like this one's biscuits and cookies. Then it shows you decorative ideas, baking, cooling, storing and freezing, and all sorts of different tips. Oh, gingerbread man. Look, she's tickling his chin. Right. Okay, so we are at the index. I'm just going to move my coffee slightly. There. Let's have a look for Christmas. We've got all the seeds. Right. Okay, so we've got Christmas recipes. We've got a cardamom Christmas wreath, Christmas angels, Christmas cake, Christmas pudding with brandy butter, Christmas rum flan, Christmas wreaths, mince pies, mince tarts, and a Yule log. So let's see what page would be the first. Let's go to Christmas rum flan, which is on page 355. Let's see. 350. 353. There we go. Christmas rum flan. Now, the colour index page is 89, so we'll check out that in a second. 8 servings. Right, Christmas rum flan, page 89. So we need to go all the way back to 89. Let's see. 89. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Need to go back this way. Oh look, there's the cardamom Christmas wreath. We'll do that in a minute. 87. 89. There it is. Christmas rum flan. Let me show you a bit closer. It's this one. See, what do you think? It says crystallised fruit and rum cream in an unbaked crumb crust. Sorry. In an unbaked crumb crust. Sorry about that. I'll leave that one in. Decorated with whipped cream and fruit. Okay. Let's have a look at the recipe. Right. First of all, bit of my coffee. Lovely. crust. Why am I having such a problem with that? I don't know. It makes one 23 centimetre or 9-inch flan case. You need 175 grams or 6 ounces of digestive biscuits, 75 grams or 3 ounces of butter melted. This is how you make it. 1. Crush the biscuits in a blender or in a strong polythene bag with a rolling pin and mix with the melted butter. 2. Press the crumbs firmly and evenly over the bottom and sides of a greased 23 centimetre or 9-inch round pie dish with the back of a spoon. Chill until set. Yeah, I've made that before. It's quite easy to do. Oh look, there's an alternative. There's an unbaked chocolate crumb crust. That's even harder to say. Prepare the crust as above, but replace 75 grams or 3 ounces of butter with a large knob of butter, melted, and 75 or 100 grams, that's 3 to 4 ounces of plain chocolate melted. Oh wow, that sounds really nice. Lovely. Okay, so I seem to think that we saw the Christmas wreath back here, didn't we? There it is. So let's do that one next. Let me show you a bit closer. There it is. It's a cardamom Christmas wreath. A spicy sweet bread flavoured with cardamom and decorated with dough balls. No, it isn't. Sorry, I'm making things up now. With dough, holly berries and leaves. Makes 1.4 kilogram or 3 pound wreath. Now it's on page 453. Let's check out 453. All the way up here. 453. Oh, there we go. So this is under special breads, yeast baking. A bit more might not coffee. So you will need 800 grams or 1 pound, 12 ounces of strong white flour, 5 ml or 1 level teaspoon of ground cardamom, 225 grams or 8 ounces of caster sugar, 350 ml or 12 fluid ounces of tepid milk, 25 grams or 1 ounce of fresh yeast, 5 ml or 1 level teaspoon of salt, 225 grams or 8 ounces of margarine melted, 3 eggs, 15 ml or 1 tablespoon of grated lemon rind, 2.5 ml or is that half a teaspoon? I think it is. So small. Half a teaspoon of almond essence and 15 ml or 1 tablespoon of milk. And this is how you do it. Number 1. Sift the flour and ground cardamom into a large bowl and add all except 5 ml or 1 level teaspoon of sugar. Make a well in the centre. Number 2. Blend the tepid milk with the yeast until smooth, stirring until it has completely dissolved. Number 3. Add the yeast mixture and melted margarine to the flour all at once. Reserve 1 egg white for glazing. Beat the remaining eggs and add them to the flour with the lemon rind and almond essence. Mix well with a wooden spoon to make a soft dough that leaves the sides of the bowl clean. 4. Turn the dough onto a floured surface and knead well for about 8 minutes until smooth, elastic and no longer sticky. Number 5. Place the dough 1/2 at a slight angle, like a Swiss roll. Wrap the roll around the tin, tucking the ends under and sealing them well. 8. Mix the reserved egg white with the 15 ml or 1 tablespoon of milk. Roll the reserved piece of dough out to 0.3 centimeters or an 1/8 of an inch thickness, used to decorate the loaf as follows. So there's a couple of diagrams here. Cutting out the decorations, cut out leaves with a cutter or sharp knife and roll the scraps into tiny balls to represent the holly berries. Arranging the decorations, brush some egg white glaze on the back of the leaves and berries and decorate the wreath with them. Cover and proof until doubled in size. Then, finally, number 9. Brush the wreath with egg white glaze and bake at 220 degrees Celsius, 450 Fahrenheit, or Mark 8, that's gas Mark 8, for 10 minutes. Then bake at 180 degrees centigrade, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, Mark 4, for 50 minutes more. Cool on a wire rack and tie on a brightly coloured ribbon to decorate the wreath, if you wish. Gosh, sounds a little bit complicated, but I bet it's worth it. Let's have a bit more coffee. Now, I also noticed some mince pies as I was looking through these recipes, and there they are. Well, they actually call them mince tarts here, so I don't know whether that's, I suppose it's kind of the same thing, isn't it, for Christmas? Let me show you. There we go. Homemade mincemeat, diced apples, chopped walnuts and brandy, baked in short crust cases, makes 12, page 357. Let's find it. It's going to be back here. 35455. There we go. Mince tarts. Okay. Oh, I see, look. So there's another recipe for mince pies, which I'm more familiar with, at the bottom. Okay, so for mince tarts, you will need 175 grams or 6 ounces of shelled walnuts. So this is to make your own mincemeat. I tend to just buy it in a jar because it's a lot easier. 500 grams or 1 pound, 2 ounces of spicy mincemeat. Right, so the recipe for that is page 470. Or you can do what I do, which is buy a jar of mincemeat, 454 grams or 1 pound of that. You need 2 large cooking apples, cored, peeled and diced, 75 grams or 3 ounces of soft light brown sugar, 60 ml or 4 tablespoons of brandy, which is optional, 15 ml or 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, short crust pastry made with 200 grams or 7 ounces of flour, and that's on page 343, and some brandy butter, which you can also make yourself, on page 375. Let me have a bit of coffee. And this is how you do it. So, number 1, roughly chop the walnuts, mix with the mincemeat, apples, sugar, brandy and lemon juice. Cover and leave to stand in a cool place overnight. I don't think that means that you have to stand in a cool place overnight. I think that means the makes about 2.3 kilograms or 5 pounds. And you will need 225 grams or 8 ounces of cooking apples, peeled and cored, 450 grams or 1 pound of currants, the same of sultanas and the same of seedless raisins, then 100 grams or 4 ounces of chopped mixed peel, 175 grams or 6 ounces of shredded suet, grated rind and juice of 1 lemon, 2.5 millilitres or half a level teaspoon of salt, 450 grams or 1 pound of demerara sugar, 2.5 millilitres or half a level teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 2.5 millilitres or half a level teaspoon of ground cloves, the same of ground nutmeg, the same of ground mace, and the same of ground allspice, and 200ml or 7 fluid ounces of brandy. So there's a lot of ingredients. Number 1, chop the apples finely and place them in a large bowl with all the remaining ingredients. Mix all the ingredients thoroughly together, cover and leave to stand for 2 days. No, not you, the mixture. Stir the mixture occasionally. 2. Stir well and pack into jars to within about 2.5 centimetres or 1 inch from the top. Cover as for jam and allow the mincemeat to mature for at least 2 weeks before using. Store in a cool place and use within a year of preparation. It's amazing, isn't it, that you can leave it for up to a year. Now I have just noticed another Christmassy thing. Mulled wine. Lovely. And also glog. I don't know whether that's how you say it. Right, we'll check out the picture in a second. So there is a picture, 112. Let's go back to 112. Oh, here we go. Right, there is the mulled wine. Okay, can you see it? So we've got mulled wine, and then actually there's something else. We've got hot cider cup with baked apples. Oh my goodness, that sounds gorgeous. And there is the glog. Can you see? So I think I'm going to do all 3 of those. I think, that's on 472, so let's do the ones on 471 first. So, mulled wine makes, I just read that as in my head, it makes 900 pints. 900 pints of mulled wine is a lot. No, it doesn't. It makes 900 millilitres and 1.5 pints. Anyway, here are the ingredients. 300ml or half a pint of water, 100 grams or 4 ounces of sugar, 4 cloves, 5 centimetres or 2.5 inches of cinnamon stick, 2 lemons thinly sliced, 1 bottle of burgundy or claret, and 1 orange thinly sliced. And to make the mulled wine, number 1, put the water, sugar and spices in a large saucepan, bring to the boil, remove from the heat and stir in the lemons. Leave to stand for 10 minutes. Number 2, add the wine and heat through without boiling. Strain into a heated punch bowl. Add the orange slices and serve hot. Sounds really nice. Then here is the glog. Makes 2.2 litres or 4 pints. You will need 10 millilitres or 2 teaspoons of grated orange rind, 5 millilitres or 1 level teaspoon of cloves, 4 cardamom seeds crushed, 3 sticks of cinnamon, 2 bottles of burgundy, simmer gently for 30 minutes. 2. Remove from the heat, discard the spice bag and stir in the remaining wine, the spirits and the sugar, cover and leave to stand overnight. 3. Heat the punch without boiling, stirring occasionally, ignite it and leave to burn for a few seconds, then cover to extinguish the flames, stir in the almonds, pour into a heated bowl and serve hot. That sounds exciting, doesn't it? Setting fire to it. Now, the other recipe was on the other page. Okay, I'm actually going to move the book over a bit because it's actually here and there are some diagrams as well. I'm going to have a bit more coffee. Okay, so this is hot cider cup with baked apples. That sounds like such a nice thing, doesn't it, to have at Christmas? Anyway, this makes 4 litres or 7 pints. Wow. And the ingredients are 3 large dessert apples, wiped and cored, 3.7 litres or 6.5 pints of dry cider, 6 cloves, 6 whole allspice berries, 10 millilitres or 2 level teaspoons of ground nutmeg, 175 grams or 6 ounces of can of frozen lemon juice concentrate, the same can of frozen orange juice concentrate, and the same of soft light brown sugar, and ounce of cocoa powder, 15 millilitres or 1 tablespoon of hot water. So number 1, I think, let me see. Okay, let's start from number 2. Yeah. So you put the eggs and sugar in a large deep bowl, stand it over a pan of hot water and whisk until thick, light and creamy. Remove the bowl from the heat and whisk until cool. If you're using an electric mixer, no heat is necessary. Yeah, I mean, who does this without an electric mixer these days? Well, I'm sure some people do, but I'm way too lazy. Number 3, mix the flour with the cocoa powder. Sift half over the mixture and fold it very lightly with a metal spoon. Add the remaining flour and cocoa in the same way and lightly stir in the hot water. Then I think we go back to here. So we make the chocolate buttercream using 350 grams or 12 ounces of icing sugar, and that's on page 400. Mix 1/3 of the buttercream with 50 grams or 2 ounces of seedless raisins and 15 millilitres or 1 tablespoon of brandy. Unroll the cold sponge after you've cooked it, obviously. Spread with the chocolate and raisin buttercream and roll up again. Cut a thick diagonal slice from one end of the roll and secure it halfway along the side of the roll with buttercream to represent a branch on the log. Spoon the remaining buttercream into a piping bag fitted with a star nozzle. Pipe lines of buttercream over the log with 1 or 2 swirls to represent knots in the wood. Pipe buttercream over the ends of the log and branch if you wish. Dredge the Yule log lightly with sifted icing sugar and decorate it with holly leaves and berries. Then it looks like snow. Now there's a little tiny diagram of the Yule log here, which I'm going to show you. I don't know whether my camera will pick it up. I'm going to make it may go a little bit blurred. I don't know whether that's going to come out or not. Hopefully you can see it. So there we go. Lovely Christmas recipes. I just love this book. It's just so good. I mean, some of the recipes are a little bit dated now, but certainly the baking side is just, I mean, you just can't go wrong. Just divine. Some of the recipes. I mean, look at those things: chocolate meringue flan, sherry trifle, chocolate eclairs, and that looks a bit weird. Lime souffle Milanese. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, let me have the last of my coffee. Yummy. So good. Oh, look at those swan eclairs. They're very cute. Okay, I'm being distracted. So,